If you can't control your thoughts and your mind, then you're really going to struggle, I think, getting to the levels of success that you really want. Take the time to switch, maybe if it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes, whatever you got. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, go read something that's about something you're interested in or something that you're working on or something like that. And I think you'll really see how it'll start to shape the way that you think and the way that you make decisions, whether that be for your family, for your work, for your business, whatever it is. I don't think people take enough time to truly be good and be great at whatever it is that they're doing. From an athletic perspective, that looks like, staying after practice. And if you're a basketball player, getting up those extra shots, or if you're struggling with your free throws, knocking down an extra 100 free throws after practice is over. You can apply it in whatever arena you want to, whether that be sports, business, life, parenting, whatever it is. If you're not good or great at whatever it is that you're doing, you're eventually going to fail or fizzle out. When you wake up on a Monday morning or a Wednesday morning, you may not have your best stuff. You may not feel the best, but you still got to get up and be your best for that day, for your work, for your family, whatever that looks like for you at this point in time. You still got to be able to get up, get back on the horse, and go to work that day and be great, or else you're going to get passed up.
The Mark Bigg Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mark Bigg Show. So glad that you are here. I want to say thank you to everyone that's listened to the first 3 episodes so far. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the first 3 episodes, we'll link the YouTube link in the bio here. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, they're there. I'd love for you guys to go check it out. My goal with this, obviously, like I said from the get-go, is to hopefully bring value to each and every person that comes by and listens to an episode, or every episode is my hope. Every time you stop in, hopefully you gain some type of knowledge, some little nugget that you can take with you and makes your life better, your day better, whatever the case may be. So I want to say thank you first and foremost to anyone that has taken the time out of their day to stop and listen. I truly, truly appreciate it, and hope that you've gained something from it and will continue to follow us as we go along, get better. My goal is to continue to provide insight and information into, my world, things that I'm experiencing, just information and knowledge that I've gained over the course of time and that I will, as time continues to unfold and hopefully make you better, and we all get better as we go along. And my goal is to continue to provide valuable guests as well. Hope you enjoyed the episode last time with my good friend Spence Sheldon. Hopefully you guys took something from that. That was a great conversation. Next episode, we'll probably have a guest as well. So we'll kind of bounce back and forth and hopefully continue to just provide as much value as I can. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 foundations that I think anyone and everyone can utilize to be successful in their life, whatever it is that you're doing. This can apply to business. This can apply to sports, and everything in between, just life in general. And I typically relate most things back to sports just because that's my background. I was a professional baseball player for 5 years. And, growing up, was either on a basketball court or on a baseball field if I wasn't at home or at school. So pretty much all I knew growing up was sports, aside from school and my family. So that's kind of how I relate everything back to, and that's where a lot of my experience and insight will come from. However, I do think that sports in general, whether you're an athlete, former athlete, or never picked up a ball or bat in your life, these things apply across all walks of life, business, general life, everything in between. And so today we're going to be talking about the 3 things that I think are key and essential to having success, whatever that looks like for you in your daily life. And those are going to be controlling your mind and your mental health and thoughts, taking the time to become good, great, or an expert at whatever it is that you are doing. And lastly, being able to overcome adversity. And these are going to be in no particular order, but as I was going through my notes, preparing for this episode, these things have just kind of popped up and came to mind and have been kind of key points that I think throughout my career as a baseball player and my short career as a business person and entrepreneur have really allowed me to have, some success in the things that I've done. And they're just prevalent in everyday life. And all the questions and conversations that I have with people each and every day, whether it be about starting a business, whether it be about just the word success in general, like how they achieve success, how does work-life balance play itself out? All these various things and conversations that I find myself in often kind of point back to these 3 things. And so controlling your mind and controlling your thoughts, I think, are essential, whatever it is that you're doing, whether that be from a parenting perspective, whether that be from starting a business, whether that be becoming a good athlete, a good coach, a good manager, a good trainer. It doesn't really matter what it is that you're interested in, what it is that you're doing. If you can't control your thoughts and your mind, then you're really going to struggle, I think, getting to the levels of success that you really want. And that looks different for everyone. So I'm not going to necessarily say you need to do these 5 things in order to control your mind. I think that looks different for everyone. For me specifically, the key thing that I do to control my mind and keep my mental capacity in the right place is going to the gym. If I don't go to the gym, my day is just different. I don't really know how to explain that to you any deeper than there's a mental clarity that comes with it. I tell people all the time that I'm hyperactive. I've got all kinds of energy of, all these things. And that's kind of my playground time, so to speak. I go there, I throw headphones in, and use that as my mind is just blank. I'm usually listening to music as loud as the phone and the ear pods will allow me to do so. And there's just really not a ton of thought going on. Because throughout the course of the day, me specifically and most entrepreneurs and most adults in general, honestly, are making, hundreds if not thousands of decisions a day. And so I truly myself need that time to just not think, so to speak, move my body, allow myself to sweat, allow myself to just not be, asked questions, not be thinking about anything specific, just kind of blank and just in there to move my body, sweat, and hopefully improve my physical health. But truly more than anything, I think, and I've had this conversation a ton of times over the last month or two, that's more than anything for me is for my mental health. It keeps my mental clarity there. It gives me that blank time where I'm not answering questions. I'm not, having to tend to emails and respond to phone calls and, answer questions and make decisions because the rest of my day from start to finish always includes those things, which is fine. And I love that. I just, being able to control that for myself is a key element to each and every day that I, have to work, don't have to work. Really, it doesn't necessarily matter. If I can get in the gym, whether it be for 30 minutes or an hour and just move my body around and just kind of mentally be blank, that really helps set the tone for the rest of my day and allows my mind to be in the right space. And then, after that, heading into the office most days looks pretty similar. I'm usually just listening to some type of podcast or whatever it is. And I'm just a firm believer in whatever it is that you are putting in your head, whether that be what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to, that's going to, show itself in your day-to-day actions and the way that you think and make decisions. Bread for the head is what some people call it, garbage in, garbage out. You hear all these different idioms and adages that I think can apply, to this particular concept, but it's true. If you're spending all your downtime watching things that don't help you, don't educate you, don't, push the ball down the field, so to speak, to the things that you're wanting to spend your time and effort on, then you're really wasting that time. And me, just like anyone else, has room to improve on these things. I spend, plenty of time just mindlessly scrolling, just like the rest of us do. But I do put forth a conscious effort that the things that I'm listening to and the things that I'm watching are things that are about business or about leadership or about your mindset, all those types of things. And it sounds cliche, but the time that you spend doing that, it really helps formulate your mind in a way that you're really not feeling it happen at the time, but then you'll make a decision, just off of instinct like that. And you're like, wow, maybe I wouldn't have made that decision before, but I've spent all this time watching, listening, learning, growing, reading, whatever it is for you. And it's allowed me to control my mind in that way. And now my mindset is that, and I can make these decisions like that and do that because I've taken the time and learned and read and listened to and watched people and things that have made me better. And so I just encourage you in that to, I used to be a big reader when I was a kid. I used to love reading. Now I find myself struggling to sit down and take the time to focus and sit still and read. And so now for me, that looks like listening to podcasts and watching podcasts. I love watching videos while I'm, on a Stairmaster or on a treadmill or something, and listening to that as time goes on. And it looks a lot differently for me now than it used to, but I've just found what works for me is either listening while I'm driving down the road or while I'm doing some work in the office, or taking the time to put headphones in and actually watch the video or whatever it is that I'm listening to. So I'd encourage you to do that and take the time to switch, maybe if it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes, whatever you got. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, go read something that's about something you're interested in or something that you're working on or something like that. And I think you'll really see how it'll start to shape the way that you think and the way that you make decisions, whether that be for your family, for your work, for your business, whatever it is. Doesn't really matter. I think it's going to apply. Secondly, I think that it's of utmost importance that you are taking the time to become good, great, and expert, whatever the word is for you, at whatever it is that you're doing. For me specifically as an accountant, a financial advisor, that looks like taking the time to stay up to date with tax laws and tax changes and local things from a county, city, and a state level all the way up to the IRS and the federal level, learning the changes, being aware of things that are potentially coming with new administrations and new tax bills and things that come along like that often. Taking the time to really be good at those things, and then learning the ins and out of the people that I work with every day, what their situations are, and what I see often is what allows me to create that competitive edge, so to speak. I don't think people take enough time to like truly be good and be great at whatever it is that they're doing. From an athletic perspective, that looks like, staying after practice. And if you're a basketball player, getting up those extra shots, or if you're struggling with your free throws, knocking down an extra 100 free throws after practice is over. You can apply it in whatever arena you want to, whether that be sports, business, life, parenting, whatever it is, really taking the time to learn your craft and becoming great, because regardless of how good your mental capacities are, or how good of a marketer you are, or how good you are at getting people in front of you, if you're a business person, or getting people in your store, if you own a business or whatever, if you're not good or great at whatever it is that you're doing, you're eventually going to fail or fizzle out. And so taking the time to actually dive in, be good at whatever it is that you're doing. And that could be parenting, for example, taking the time to know your kids individually. Each kid's different. How does this kid respond to this? How does that kid respond to that? All these various things, if you take the time to learn and dive deep and understand what it is that you're spending your time and efforts on, you'll be better inevitably. I know that sounds silly and cliche, but so many people don't take the time to do that. I hear people all the time like, how to become a better parent, how do I become a better this or that? But are you taking the time to actually sit there and learn and be better at whatever it is that you're doing? I think we take that for granted, as crazy as it sounds. Business, going back to that, is hard. Sports are hard. So like, if you're not taking that extra time to do that, it will eventually show itself in the form of you not getting new business, or you not getting referrals, or you not getting the scholarship, or you not getting to be on the team, or whatever it looks like. If you're not taking that time to go the extra mile and get better at whatever it is that you're doing, you're eventually going to fail. And then the third thing that I wanted to touch on today is overcoming adversity. Regardless of what it is that you're doing or not doing, you're eventually going to run into some adversity. If you listen to the first episode of the Mark Big Show, where I kind of went through what my life looked like from 18 to now, you'll see that pretty much through my high school years, not a ton of adversity, to be honest with you. I was very fortunate with my home life, and, had good athletics and good family and all these things that were going so well for me. But from the time that I graduated on, there's been plenty of big pivotal moments of adversity that I think for a lot of people, they would have kind of sat and wallowed in that and maybe not turned the corner and went on to do some of the things that I've been able to do. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but it's important to understand that whatever your journey looks like, you're going to have adversity. And relating it back to sports and baseball, for example, baseball in general is one of those sports where if you're a hitter, if you hit 300, your batting average is 300. That means that you got 3 hits out of every 10 times that you came to the plate. You're considered a Hall of Famer, which doesn't sound like much to most people. But if you break that down, what that means is 7 out of those 10 times you got out and you were going back to the dugout with not a hit, a strikeout, whatever it looks like. And so being able to overcome adversity, I think, is a key component of any athlete, especially baseball, just because you play so much in so many games. And if you're a pitcher, you pitch so many times over the course of a season, you're inevitably going to fail more than you succeed. And so being able to wear those days on the chin, but still go back to the drawing board the next day and get in your routine and do the work that you need to do to be prepared for the next night is what allows that success to eventually happen over time. Many times in baseball, for example, a season's 140 games long in the minor leagues when I was playing. So as a relief pitcher, you're probably not going to pitch every other day, but unless you're in the doghouse with the manager, you're probably not going to sit longer than 2 or 3 days. So, if you're pitching once every 3 days, the thing is, when you go out there, and any baseball player or any athlete really that's went beyond high school, I think will tell you this, 7 to 8 out of those 10 appearances that you have, you don't feel your best. Your arm's just kind of aching. You pitched the night before and you did well, so you're kind of wanting to sit in that for a minute, but it's like, hey, you pitched well last night, you didn't throw that many, so you're going to pitch again at night. So you got to stay ready at all times. But the thing is, you're going to go out there most of the time and not have your best stuff. Your body's not going to feel 100%. Your slider's not going to break very hard. Your fastball's down 2 or 3 miles an hour that day, whatever that looks like. But you still got to go out there and get the job done. And I think any common person can relate to that. When you wake up on a Monday morning or a Wednesday morning, you may not have your best stuff. You may not feel the best, but you still got to get up and be your best for that day, for your work, for your family, whatever that looks like for you at this point in time. You still got to be able to get up, get back on the horse, and go to work that day and be great. or else you're going to get passed up. Going back to being good and great at whatever it is that you're doing. Life's hard. Business is hard. Running a family's hard. All these things are difficult. And so if you're not putting your best foot forward and being able to overcome those challenges, you're really going to run into problems as time goes on, because life is going to present itself. Life's tough. You're going to have situations that you can't control that are going to come at you, good, bad, and indifferent. And so it's all about how you respond to those things. And going back to the baseball analogy, you're going to go out there some days and feel like $1 million, but your stuff's going to get hit all over the park, and you're going to give up a home run or two. And that's just how things work. When I come to work every day, there's going to be days that I just don't feel my best, but like in my mind, I'm controlling my mindset, and I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to do everything that I can control today and do it in the best way that I can. And things work out fine. And then there's days where you feel great and you're like, you know what, I'm going to kind of coast a little bit, and then things go haywire. That's just inevitably how life works. That's how business works. That's how running a family works, all these things. And so I think it's of utmost importance that you learn to deal with adversity and understand that it's going to come. It's kind of one of those things that when you're on top of the mountain, just understanding that it ain't going to be that way forever. And if you're in a valley at that point in time, whatever that looks like, whether it's a deep valley or just a little blip in the run there, it's not going to last forever either. So it's being able to, to ebb and flow with the good and the bad. Life's always going to have its adversity and its struggles, and understanding that if you can control your mindset through those times, it's what's going to allow you to continue to get back up over and over again and continue to show up for your family, for your work, for your business, whatever that looks like, for your team if you're an athlete, all these things. And so I always, like I said, relate this back to athletics, but this applies in everyday life, whether you're a dad, a mom, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a manager, a supervisor, a high school athlete on a team. All these things apply. If you can control your mind, control your thoughts, take the time and the extra time to really dive into whatever it is that you're wanting to do for yourself and become good at it, become great at it, become an expert, all those things. That's truly what's going to help set you apart. And then lastly, being able to overcome adversity. It's going to happen. It's coming. It's inevitable. Life's going to throw curveballs at you always. And so you have to be able to roll with the punches and understand that those things are coming, and continue to do the things that you're supposed to do for you, for your family, even when adversity strikes, because inevitably it's going to. And so it's all about how you deal with those things. So I really hope you guys can take a little piece from it, and hopefully it makes your day better, makes your week better. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you next time. We'll see you soon.